All right, hello everybody. Let's see here. Couple bits of housekeeping. The chat on YouTube off. Looks like the stream has made it. Check the sound. Yeah, looks like we got sound into OBS, so I think we're good to go. So I am jumping straight in today. Just getting back into into the swing of things with CircuitPython Mondays, and I was about to test out this PR, so I figured I would throw on the stream and we could do that on stream, and then I got a couple things to look into afterwards with Actions, so I figured I'd do all of that stuff. This particular PR that I'm starting with is on HTTP server, so this library is for microcontrollers that have Wi-Fi, and you want to run a web server on the microcontroller so that a different client, like a PC or a mobile phone or any other device, so that it can like send a request to the microcontroller and then get a response back. So you could send it a trigger to do something, or you could send it like a new state to update something. Like if you want to make a remote control thing, you could tell it to turn on or off an LED. So kind of like IoT control type stuff. Lots of different things you could use it for. There's a couple of different ways that you can make this type of thing with CircuitPython. This one is specifically this HTTP server library. And the PR that's here is basically giving you access to the body, which, if I understand correctly, they mean the stuff that the client sent as part of the request to the server. And they have added a way to access that. It seems that there didn't used to be a way. This person has added this raw request to be able to access that, and added a very, very basic example inside of the comment showing how to use it. So we are going to check it out. I mean, as far as the actual code change itself, it really doesn't appear like it's that substantial, right? This must be, what is this, inside of underscore HTTP request. We already had raw request, which was bytes, and this is just storing it on self. That way we could access it later on. So not a whole lot going on as far as the actual code. So we'll try it out. I have a ESP TFT, Feather TFT set up here. I do not have the overhead camera back on yet. Actually, we took that camera out and was using it to take some other photos earlier. Haven't set the arm that holds it back up. So there will be nothing to see, but realistically, we're not doing anything on the display anyway. So the terminal, the REPL, the serial console, that's really where all the action is going to be anyway, and you can see that on my screen. We should be connected. Yep. CircuitPy, and my CodePy right now is something I was using to test some charts, the Sparkline. So let's rename this, or actually let's just copy paste Sparkline reset test. And now we can clear this. And I'm actually gonna, did I clone it? I don't think I have cloned it either. This is one of the libraries I don't have locally yet. So I'm gonna grab this, go to the terminal repos, CircuitPython clone that, open it in PyCharm, but from this window instead, so we don't have to navigate as far. We are. No, we don't really need to do that. Here. So I probably don't have it on my device. So to start with, let's just take the stock one and get it on my device and get the simple test running before we even bring into the mix any of the actual changes. Let's just get the most basic version working so we can make sure that we understand how it works and that we are actually set up to be able to see whether or not the new version works differently or the same or whatever. There will be an example. We could actually just get that from PyCharm as well, right? We have the repo here. Grab simple test for now. Yeah. 480. Yeah, it seems like it should be all right. I'm gonna connect to TO. I did it too late, so I can't actually see the output, and in this case I am actually going to cheat and look at the screen, which I know you all can't see, but on the screen it does tell me that it looks like it worked correctly and that it thinks it's listening on this port here, on this IP rather. Although I think my browser will default, yeah, to HTTPS. It's redirected me back there. There we go. So we got a not found index. We got something, which is good. Let's see. Default response is index.html. Oh, okay, yeah, it looks like this is for serving a static file, so I guess probably inside of examples it has... It doesn't have index. Maybe we should have an index in here. So we'll make one. Index. Server test. Just go nice and simple. So that'll rerun. Okay. Okay. And we have our HTML file. It's stored on our device on the CircuitPy drive. Our server is returning it for us. We're pretty good there. And so then the actual example of using the new thing is this raw request. It's just printing the length. One thing is we could have text and test should be the same here. Save this, restarts, it's listening, and we refresh here, we don't see anything different. It says incorrectly. Oh, okay, this crashed. Oh, right. So, okay, this makes sense. This code crashed, therefore we went back to nothing is running, and in which case we happen to have a version of the core that has the web workflow turned on. So that's what we ended up seeing, which is interesting. I guess probably we should use a different port just so we're not using the same port as the web workflow. I don't know that would bother anything necessarily, but we may as well not, I think. So you get it to load this time. Oh, I only changed the print. I don't know where to actually be able to change it then, I guess. Maybe we won't change it. Is there a port on the init? Take a quick look. Value phrase. But this is status. Time type. Response. Server. Socket source? Sockets. Could be a socket pool for socket. Okay, so socket probably already has port. We're using Wi-Fi.radio. Yeah, to be honest, I have no idea what kind of object that is or how to manipulate it. So I think what we do is just go back to 80. And then if we try to load the page, it crashes because it can't access raw request. Our code crashes, and then web workflow takes over, which is actually kind of cool that the web workflow still pops up even after the user code crashed. So we will need the new version. Let's check out the PR branch. Whoop. There we go. I didn't actually have the Twitch chat open before. I do now. The other screen over here. Okay. Copy this one to our device. Oh, accidentally did Control-C. Interesting. I kind of feel like we got a weird cached version or something. Huh. There we go. Okay, I did a F6 on my keyboard, which is my own hotkey basically, but I refreshed without, with deleting the cache. Browsers try really hard to cache as much as they can for the most part. But I cached that page and I was requesting it again, and it was like, this page hasn't changed. Let me just show you the cached one. And I'm like, no. I think we want to see the latest one, though, because I think it has changed. Here's our new bit here. We did get the size. We could print the real data too. I'm curious. I mean, it's gonna be just HTTP stuff. Probably. Yeah. The HTTP request, which in our case doesn't really contain anything particularly interesting. Headers and all this kind of stuff. But test with one of these things. Boy, I don't remember the format, but it's pretty easy. I think it starts like pretty simple. We're just gonna give it something like this. I don't know, we probably don't need to include this. Body, yeah, I don't know. Hello? This is probably not it. Request. Oh, interesting. Huh. Okay, it opens it as a file here. Interesting. So that part worked. We just need to figure out how do I add a body to this. And it's kind of a nonsensical example. Typically with a GET request, you wouldn't really have a body. With POST request, you may, but or put or anything. I think you should be able to though with a GET. HTTP GET request with body. Okay, so best practice is you wouldn't use it with a GET request. I think, does this... do posts the same way? The server library, I mean? This tester thing does. That's the same. Change it, make sure it shows up the new one. This would be a more realistic example. You post some data to it, and then you get a response back. You know, in this case, a file. In that case, let's do charm HTTP request post body. Request body. Whoa, what is that about? Post data. This would be more like what you do with a GET request. Instead of sending the body to modify what you get back, you would send these arguments. Okay. Place. Oh, okay. We really don't need both of these, actually. Yeah. I see. Guess the second one was a get. So we were actually making two things. Response code 500. Seems to think these are GET requests. Go ahead and restart. So we have a, let's also modify this just so we have like a bearings on, making sure we have the latest version and know what we're seeing printed. We don't see anything printed for the posts. Try like this first. Maybe the post never did work actually. I guess I thought it was, but we actually had an extra GET request inside there. I still don't see. Actual data coming through. Unclear to me though. See, this thinks this is not part of it. There we go. Okay. So theoretically, inside your server, you could look at this and make some determination about it. It's gone now, but wherever that Stack Overflow is, it says that that would kind of be against the best practice, but you could also use this for arguments, I think, right? Like, we don't really have... I mean, aside from this just not being possible today, and it is with the version in the PR, some arg equals... See what the things on request are. I'm not sure if there's an easy way to access the arguments. Maybe there is already a different way, but the body is the main thing, and this does seem to allow access to the body. No, it doesn't match. Didn't get it. You'd actually have to include this maybe here. That'd be tough because then you're hard coding the value. Path probably has the argument, but it turns out it's actually kind of difficult to use them. Okay. It does work. Appear to be a way to retrieve the content from incoming request. Okay. I mean, it seems to work okay. I don't necessarily see the exact use case yet. Maybe did I just see a way to find the post? Route. Ah, okay, method. You can put method. Okay. Which would actually... This was like... Method. Post? Okay. Now we got the post back. Well, we got a response from the post. Throwing me off having terminal and services. Okay, so we printed this stuff again, but here's our actual data. In this case, we didn't send it any data, but we did get the request, and then now we could actually have, like, you know, we could do something interesting like content. The highlighting is thrown off because it's trying to treat it as like a header or something as opposed to just raw data, but it is actually just raw data. And then now we could, which we didn't used to be able to do, we could do something like, well, we got to get the body from that, so third line. I don't know if third line is the best way to do it, but it's the way I'm gonna. So well, let's do it this way. Then let's make it actually a success. So I was going to try to like substitute it in, but we'd have to look further into it because we're just giving it the file name. Something would need to replace or something if we wanted to be able to do that. So let's just make it nice and simple. Success. True. Error. Had the wrong line. Not allowed. They're lowercase in JSON. Succeed. Find. Okay, there we go. Hello world succeed page. This was false. Hello world fail page. So this would be something that you couldn't have done with the old version of the library because there was no way to access the data. And this one is much more realistic, I think, of an example. Quite sure when this gets called. First line. Oh, okay, first line. Basically, we have if the request body was empty, just set the path and method. Else, if the request body wasn't empty, get the first line from it, set the method, path, and HTTP version from the stuff we found in the first line, raise the error if the first line didn't get parsed correctly. I see. Okay, yeah, nothing accesses anything beyond the first line, so yeah, there's no other way to get access to actually anything, even things like headers and any other parts of the request, the body as well. So aside from the one change to test and text, I think this looks fine. Could request change 5 days ago. I don't know, since it's a one-letter typo, I'm thinking maybe just change it, push it, and then leave the review. Well, we'll give him a bit. Let's just leave the request, change request. I don't really mean to highlight that. I don't know if that does anything different. Who's this? Aaron him? How's it going? Johnny and C. Grover, perhaps, if you two are still around? Did not have the Discord. I pulled up Twitch earlier, but my Discord actually was still sitting on CircuitPython Dev, but I just switched it over. Let me hurry up the music. We paused here. There we go. Okay. I think next thing I'm diving into is back to actions. So we discussed a bit in the meeting today about the next steps for the memory measurement initiative, I guess, that I'm embarking on. We're going to aim for kind of the lowest hanging fruit first, which is just outputting the size of the MPY file before trying to get into the larger topic of on-device testing. And so the main action item for me is in the cookie cutter repo. We're going to make a pull request that introduces a new actions workflow. Well, not on this repo itself, but actually inside here, which outputs the size of the MPY file and the size of the strings. And ideally, what we want to do is actually do both the current version and the new version from the PR branch. If we could get both of those sizes so they could be easily compared, that's ultimately what we want. and we want to try to put it in a comment on the PR. So I have a couple of things to learn to try to make that happen. One of them is, how do I make a comment on a PR from inside of an action? Add PR comment. Uses with message token. So token user login. Maybe. It's weird. I don't quite get. It's like it's providing a user. This seems like a user, but then it's providing a token. But this is not the user's name. This is like some default. So what would the token be? So let's see. Maybe that is already existing in the environment. I'm not sure if I need to add the token explicitly or if that's like already there or what. Look in this one. So I guess I just did everything on. Oh no, I did have action size check. So let's go back to action size check. Sizes. Okay. So one thing is we'll need to somehow get. We will need to somehow get the value back from that to include inside of the message that we're going to pass to this. Maybe we can make one of these things, variable things. I mean, we don't need a secrets one, but once we get our number from this, maybe we could store it in a variable that we would then be able to access with this thing. Okay, this is getting these variables. I need to find a better editor for YAML files, I guess. See if there's a plugin I'm missing or something. This seems to give me invalid YAML by default in my PyCharm. Oh my. We kind of want it to check if it's a pull request. How do we check which action? So we have two actions, pull request and push. We want to only do this for pull requests because there will be no commenting. There's not a pull if it's a push instead of a pull request. So how do we check the event? Event type. Forget the event type. Substitute. I guess we don't want event schedule. So event name. So yeah, I don't know for sure if this will be filled in or not. I mean, I think in the Adafruit repos it is, but my clone of this one here, I don't know for sure if it will be. One thing that's weird is this is gonna run when I push. But that step, things work right, won't actually do anything. So then we'll make a PR against my branch and see if it does that time. So here I think when it gets to it, it'll just say canceled or something. Oh, actually, while that's working, one thing to look at maybe is this thing. We didn't access the event the right way, or maybe there's multiple ways. Okay, but then this is just using this whole repo to do the comment. Okay, test comment, it did cancel, so I think it noticed that it shouldn't do it for a push. That part's good. This one was a minute ago. It's now running this one, so this time it should at least attempt the test comment. We'll see if it's successful. It might be missing one of the things it needs or something. Oh, that is working. Let's look at Circup. I wanted to see if it has a local install. Is it path? Options modules. Such option. Oh, path before install, probably. Have a boot up. Basically, I was trying to think about ways to get the currently released version of the MPY for any given library, which we could just download the bundle and take it out of there, which is what Circup is doing. But it might be nice if Circup could get it for us easier. Okay, it seems like it succeeded. Print any errors at least. Shows a comment. Nice. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, that's exactly how we want it to show up at least. So let's see if we can get the size from the size to be in the comment. I'll have to probably close and make a new pull request a couple of times, but let's figure out how we can do that. So the other train of thought I went down there with Circup was like, how do I get the currently published version of the library? That way we could compare the size back to it. Okay, there we are. Yeah. Hmm. So right now what I have is just printing. These things. We would essentially need to get them from this printout though and like send them over to the next step. So that turned off a couple more prints. That way the only thing that will print is the actual outputs that we want. ended up downloading MPY cross utility and then compiling the source in a temporary workspace. That's pretty much what we are doing with the current library, with the modified version. Which we could clone the main branch and we could run that build as well. Interesting. Thanks for sharing this. Appreciate it. What is this? Grizz? Appreciate this. So ours does work a little bit differently, but it's the same basic idea. Ours uses CircuitPython build tools. So essentially the whole build comes from inside of this one. We only run this one command here, but the command is CircuitPython build bundles, which has its own repo called CircuitPython build tools, which is where this comes from. And it essentially does the same stuff that yours is doing, essentially, like downloading MPY cross and then calling that, like passing all those files into it, recursing if it's a module. So we definitely could clone main and run this, and we would get the current ones. Curious though if there's not gonna be a different way that we might be able to just download it from S3 or the bundle somewhere. There's like a place we can just download it instead of build it. Then the action will run a little bit quicker. We kind of, okay, so for one thing is I have two high-level problems to solve with actions, which is how do we get the results, how do we get the stuff printed by a Python script into something that we can share into another step. So one thing is going to be like, how do we get what Python thing printed, and then once we've gotten it, how do we share it to the following step? So I mean, you could just use cat or whatever, right? Like arrow thingy. Is that right? I think this is essentially ending up with a copy of this pasted into here. We don't want to add it because I'm just testing cd temp s. That seems weird. Seems unlikely to me that that worked correctly because strings output doesn't seem like it would be 0. But it's also been a minute since I ran this, or I don't even know that I ever did run it directly like this. I did have build and measure size. I'm not in the right folder that it's expecting. I'll have to update my utilities with build tools. Call it being somewhat inflexible at the time. I will. I mean, it is. I would agree that it is still somewhat inflexible because it is made for specifically being this thing that our actions use to run them. But I mean, you at the same time, like you're also free to fork it and tweak it to do whatever you need. But I mean, there are like several different commands inside of it that are like specific to our workflows and our building processes and such. It is nice though because it gives you like one command and like for instance it does all these different builds for you. Right now we're in between versions, kind of 7 and 8, so it builds both of those. It also builds the examples and the Python uncompiled ones. So you get like all of those by just running the one command, which you might not need all of those either. So it may make sense to use the more stripped down one, but MPY file, I think we're not ending up in the right directory. So, well, CD into here. Yeah, I don't quite get why it would be. Okay. I don't know why that wasn't working. So one problem is though is it's gonna overwrite it if I run this again. Well, okay, it doesn't really matter what it prints. Mostly what I want to know is, can I do the same thing? Can I go like Python measure size and then like put the results of this into here? Okay. Okay. So planning on precompiled release packages, so cross-compiling 7 and 8 would be nice. Yeah. Awesome. So we can, when we do this, our size stuff. So this could go to, I don't know, sizes.text. Message. So how do we read this message out of a file? This is a whole different action. Idea being to minify the size as much as possible, which is what I'm assuming you're working on. Broadly, yes. Broadly, I am trying to work on a way that our goal is to make things as small as possible, in general. But really what I'm working on specifically is just the way to quantify that. Right now, today, we don't, there is a size to the built library, but it's not made prominently available. So specifically, I'm trying to get it to post in a comment here the size of the MPY file as well as the strings inside of it, and then we'll do some comparisons back to the current version. So that will kind of get the process rolling of like, once we're measuring it and putting those measurements somewhere where it's easy to find, then we'll be in a much better position to start deciding how big is too big and which additions are getting too big for one library and need to be split up or made a secondary library or something. Message. So really, this might be a more general YAML or actions question, but what I need to figure out is can I use this kind of substitute-y thingy like this, but have it read a file and have it go to message instead of token? I have no idea the right way to phrase that question to Google. Dollar sign. 6 matches. Okay, maybe environment variables we could use, but I'm not sure how. It says you can set and get them. So theoretically, we could set one with our string in it and then read it from there, maybe for the message. However, the example doesn't... Oh, no. Okay, never mind. This is just hard coding a variable in the file. Yeah, that's not what we want, I don't think. Markdown in all valid Unicode. Got the file into the environment variable. Yeah, I don't know how to access it. It seems like it needs to be hard coded to do that environment map rather than dynamically created at the time the action runs. This almost feels like this is really expecting a string. Which if I could read it from a file. So there was the other one. We could just try the other. There was one of these. So one thing would create results, and then this would just say, use this. I think we already have this set up. There's the path to our file. Okay, and so again, we'll get the same deal where this is going to run once on push, and then it's going to not do the comment part if our if works correctly. Oh, I guess it will do pull requests again. Maybe it will work. Let's give it a try, I guess. Maybe it's going to actually work. I'm not sure. I was thinking it wouldn't because I guess the name threw me off. I was thinking this is when a pull request gets created, but it's actually not. It's when a commit goes to a pull request, which happens when it's created, but also when it is updated with a new commit. So it seems like it may actually work. Oh. Wait a minute. Oh, something I have done way wrong. The rest of the stuff. I've, yeah, done something super wrong. My indentation? Why did none of the other things run this time? Oh. Weird. Comment failed. Retry middleware with Faraday v2, install Faraday, retry gem, GitHub token. okay, I guess we do probably. Do need to actually do this. We do have it. We have it as. Oh, okay. So this is. You can maybe create the environment dynamically. Well, I don't know. Could you cat? Could this be like cat a file, and then it would end up inside this? I'm not sure. Well, I mean, if we can use the file though, then that's certainly good enough, I think. Files that changed. That action should work. That was weird. We saw the list once without most of the things in it. That was like we saw the test one from, I was looking at the wrong repo or something. Maybe I wasn't even looking at my own actions output. I guess downloading the bundle is probably the easiest way to get the current version. We just download the bundle, unzip it, find the one that matches the module name that we're checking the size for, and then check the size for that same one once we find it inside the bundle. Check sizes test comment got passed at least. Like it got passed here. So then this one doesn't print anything useful anymore because now that got catted into the file. Oh, we got more comments. Looks like one of the other ones actually did work too, maybe. Oh. Okay, I failed another one of the checks. Oh, because the one we pushed previously failed. Yeah. Okay, so here's our output, and this does have our stuff in it. Now we're looking good. We can get rid of these two. I think I maybe even did and just didn't commit. Yeah. Okay. So that would print basically these three here. So if we wanted to be able to compare to the current ones, I think what we do is just probably append to this file. So let's say this is check sizes new version, and then we make another one here, name check sizes published version. Which is gonna get a little tricky, but let's start building it up here. So we want to download the bundle. I think is it an S3 link? No, it's a GitHub link. But these have the date coded into them. How do we get the latest bundle? I actually have code that does this. So in my case, I was also trying to delete yesterday's. We don't really have to do that. So I guess one thing is we could also do this inside of here instead. Then we wouldn't need a different step. I like that actually. Turn these ones off for now. Don't remember this. It looks like it's copying some stuff. Let's just download it. Download it and see what we get. So I guess we'll probably need CircuitPython 8 in here. Zero division. Oh, because of the strings is coming out wrong. Oh, and now this is coming out wrong. So yeah, we're just not in. It's not in the same directory or something. It just doesn't work the same way as it does inside the actions. I just need to figure out how to get it to run and actually do its thing. So it says we found it. We printed the file. That looks pretty good to me. Why do we say MPY file size 0? So it said chdir into zip, which has zip in the name but is actually not zipped. It's just a folder. Then chdir to the first directory you find inside of there. Then chdir into lib. It's here. py file equals os.lister /0. So we will still need to fix this. This is still assuming we're doing single file MPY. Eventually we'll still need to make this work with packages. But I'm not quite there yet. I wonder if it's finding strings output first and then running strings on it and then it's empty. Seems kind of weird, but maybe. Okay, yeah, I think that might have been it. We had an empty strings file and therefore we like ran strings against it because it somehow was first in the list. Now we got some actual outputs though. We did seemingly get the bundle. Downloaded. We got another copy of this. Oh. Oh, okay. We downloaded the we downloaded the bundle and unzipped it. Okay. We're getting close. So really we would just basically want to. So what if we said measure sizes directory? Yeah. This takes a default. We put this here. Well, no, yeah, never mind. This is all gonna be different. Never mind. Let's go chdir. And download file name. cd into the bundle, and then into lib. And then we basically want to run the same check we did before, but on the MPY file that we find inside of here. It does get tricky because I don't think we know the module name. Check if a file exists. How do we do that? Quest.path. A single file. Then kind of want to just run the same stuff against it. Make a variable for this. Nope, we want that. Delete strings. Let's delete the bundle. Zipped. Okay. We got both are the same. I'll reset so we can do that one more time. Delete those. Oh, we didn't get another output though. I'm gonna run it again without. I was gonna go make a change and see if we could actually see the change, but make sure that actually works. I don't know. Results. Oh, I did that one earlier actually. Oh, I guess this is inside of here. I see. Okay. That makes sense, because we CD'd into there. It doesn't really matter where we put it. This is all going to get deleted anyway. Now I'll reset, make an actual change. Make this longer, for instance. Factor that, save it. Then run this, and we should see a difference this time. But we didn't. Because we didn't rebuild the MPY file. So I'm just gonna run this one. Except that it clones. Okay. I'm just gonna run build bundles, I guess. Broken. Well, that broke the build. I'll delete it, put it back. Hmm. Maybe I think actually the fact that these are constants maybe makes them different and not get stored the way that I was thinking. These things are definitely in here. Let's make one of these longer. Okay, there we go, finally. So our modified version is this many bytes, 1692. Strings output is 808. The percentage is 47.75. The published version is 1652, 40 bytes less. Strings output size 766. Strings percentage of MPY file 46.37. Turn those back off. And I think we're ready. Well, we need to push this. Don't need to push that. Only measure size, yeah. Push this to here. We go back to here. Let's make a change in this one as well. And we saw that constants get treated differently, but we could use... We could... Where's that bit we just changed? Is that an old version, or...? Oh yeah, these are just not defined anymore. Huh. So there was an active PR that was working on this, and I think one of the pieces of feedback was removing some of those, which added size. Maybe that just got done. Why do we have two of these with one private? That seems odd. Be a light system. So we try the commit this. We already pushed memory measurement. One thing is, I don't know if this will want to re-comment. I guess, I mean, it's going to be a different comment this time, so I suppose it will know that it's not the same. That last one had an argument that was like repeats or something, void repeats true. This one doesn't seem to have that. So I don't know if it just always does repeats or... I'll see. Oh, we got this weird one again without all the stuff in it. And we failed. Run pre-commit. Okay. Probably be heading out pretty quick here. Curious to see if this works, but probably be calling it a night after that. If this does work, though, then we got quite a bit further along in the process. We're able to now check the existing version and put our response as a comment. So basically, if this does work, the next thing to do is just add these actions to cookie cutter in a PR over on the cookie cutter repo so that they can be discussed there. And then at that point also, like if anybody else has input on the exact wording of what the thing comments, we could always set that up. Maybe potentially take my memory, because like this is cloning Funday CircuitPython memory tools. Maybe that would want to be an Adafruit repo, maybe even an existing one like Adabot or build tools or something potentially. I'm not sure if we'd want that separate or. Looks like okay. We got check sizes. We got test comment. Could probably change the name. I guess it shouldn't be test comment anymore, but. Got 4. Oh. This? Oh, action spot reacted with eyes emoji, huh? Oh, my equal signs changed something. Published version. Let's also get rid of that extra print. If this was like this, yeah. Oh, but the horizontal rule actually stopped working. Can you, like, this? Yeah. And then what about the actual results? Okay, yeah, so we did get modified version is 1573, 863, 54%, published version 1652, 766, 4637. It's supposed to be effect instead of affect. I think I messed that up, didn't I? Yeah, see, I got to it here and it's this different one. It doesn't have all the stuff. That is so weird. Must just be like when it generates this page, it has a placeholder or something. You know, I'm surprised the download worked. Because I think it uses requests. I guess that must be getting installed already in here, maybe. Something else relies on requests also, maybe. Oh yeah, I saw it. In fact, it's right there. Oh, nope, not right there. Oh, I saw it go by. How's it going? Other rack is banned? Banded? Thanks for checking it out. Watching over there on Twitch. I don't know if you're familiar with the stream or the stuff I work on, but if you're interested and want to know more about what I'm working on, I'm happy to give you a quick high level. I'm doing pretty good. How are you? Just wrapping up for the day pretty quick here. Sizes. So we got a success check here, so I think everything is good. Got a 5th comment. Boom, there we go, modified version. So we could also, this does support Markdown, so like we could get fancy and bold this if we wanted. We could also add one more that's like a conclusion or whatever, which would subtract these or show one as a percentage of the other or something like that. That way you could see like new version is X% bigger than old version, something like that. I'm good, just thinking about how I'm gonna do my next project. Nice. All right. So we pretty much did get what we want. We've got the modified version printing out along with the currently published version, so these are now super easy to compare. Looks like these comments will just always come from Github Actions bot. It's pretty straightforward. And this would essentially just comment anytime a new commit comes into a PR in one of our repos. If we go and add it to the workflows and everything. Okay. To be honest, I don't really know if an account generator is allowed. Account generator? I mean, probably not. Depends on what service you're talking about, but I would guess lots of services say something to the effect of you're not allowed to like automatically create accounts. Like if they didn't provide you with an API that allows you to do that, that's documented as an API, then probably you're not allowed to do that, and most likely something in the agreement that you click accept on when you first sign up, something in there probably tells you can't do that. But if they do have a published API that says here's the exact way you send requests to make a new thing or something, then it's probably fine. You just got to follow whatever the docs say. But I do think it totally depends on the service. All right, I think that's where I'm gonna wrap it up tonight. I'm pretty happy with what we got. I will make the changes over in Cookie Cutter and make a PR for that. I'll probably point it over to here. I should say it was over to my head, but it's good to be exposed to GitHub Actions terminology. Yeah, for sure. You're welcome. Thanks for watching, C. Grover. Honestly, I'll say it's I'm learning as I go here. A lot of this stuff is still brand new to me. So thanks for the follow, other racist band over on Twitch. Appreciate it. I am going to be heading out now, though, so thank you to everybody for watching. I'll be back on Friday for CircuitPython Day stream. So check that out. Look up like circuitpython.org. You can learn more about CircuitPython Day and join us in the Discord, Adafruit Discord, adafru.it/Discord. Head there to learn more, but Friday is probably the next time I'll be streaming. So I'll see you then. Have a good night.